Alright, fuck the intro. I'm just gonna spit this subject out, and I want everyone to understand where I'm coming from with this. I'm pretty sure you can see everything in the title. But I think we need a reset on internet reviewers. I think we need to exile people who clearly do not know what the fuck they're talking about, and they have no prior knowledge to a franchise beforehand, or they fail to get the prior knowledge from using fucking Google. I'm talking about the internet critics that are lambasting Rambo Last Blood, all because the movie has a lot of blood, all because the movie has a lot of violence, all because the movie is a war-themed movie, and you didn't know that from the previous iteration of Rambo to begin with, because Rambo 4 was a pretty gory movie. It was a pretty downright brutal depiction of war, and it's an action movie. So you're going to have copious amounts of gore, you're going to have copious amounts of violence. It's Rambo. Anything that centers around war should not be pretty at all. It gives me Vietnam flashbacks to when people complained about white phosphorus being in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I'm like, okay, it's a weapon of war. Weapons of mass destruction in war are utilized. I don't see the problem with them implementing that into that game. I don't see the problem of Sylvester Stallone chopping people up like it's a horror movie, chopping people up like it's Thanksgiving dinner, because that's what Rambo does. He kills people, he gets his vengeance, he goes home. That's how Rambo operates. Have you not seen how this franchise works? Now, I can understand those people saying that Rambo had more of a psychological thriller aspect to the first movie. And I'm not taking that away if you feel like the plot of Last Blood is basic. That is a fair criticism to say that it could have been a little bit more deeper than you were expecting. But it is an action movie, and you're going to get the grace of an action movie. I don't get people saying, oh, Rambo Last Blood is sexist because the villains are evil and they have a prostitution ring. Hey, fuckos. Yeah, you, fuckos, saying this movie is misogynistic, right? Don't you know that women get shoved into prostitution rings against their will in real life by cartels and people in third world countries? It sucks. It really sucks. I wish it didn't happen to these people, but that is the world we live in. Not every area is a nice place. And if they shied away from that subject matter, I believe it would actually be taking away from the themes of war and drug trafficking or cartels or fucking prostitution rings, right? If they don't show you this stuff in a mature manner to where you want to root for the hero to succeed, then the filmmaker isn't doing a pretty picture. They aren't doing their job of adult storytelling by shying away from the subject matter. Rambo has way too much gore. Oh, no. It has way too much gore. It's like a slasher flick. Imagine taking away the gore in a horror movie, right? Well, actually, they do that anyway because they do have PG-13 horror movies. But a slasher flick itself, where there is a titular killer going around and chopping people up like Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees, imagine those people being rated G, right? It wouldn't fucking work. It wouldn't work because their MO is to kill people in the most gruesome and violent ways possible. You can't neuter a film like this. And I think we're getting to that point where these critics out here, they really need to be replaced. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They have all the prior knowledge they need. Go use Google to find out how a franchise works. Or how about this? How about saying that this movie really isn't for me. I'm squeamish. I either will A, choose not to go see it because I don't want to shit on a franchise where I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about, or B, I decide to say, hey, the movie wasn't for me, but this audience will enjoy it because this, that, and this, and then we list the positives and the negatives of the movie, even though it's a genre I clearly do not appreciate or do not like. At least I can say that it is a genre that might fit the people out there that like these sort of basic action movies where the plot, it has no plot, but it has a lot of spectacle to it, a lot of gore, a lot of action, and people enjoy that. Sometimes it's good for a film to have this sort of basic premise, but you root for the hero. This is why John Wick is so successful, right? The premise is so basic in the first movie. A dog dies, this man is pissed, they die in extremely outlandish ways. And people love it. People love the craft behind the John Wick movies, even though they are so basic in terms of plot. The action is the forefront. That's how R-rated action movies work. They're supposed to have violent scenes. They're supposed to have shootouts. They're supposed to have gore. You understand? It's like, are we shying away from R-rated content and hating it because it's way too violent? It's like, I don't understand that. Violence happens in an everyday occurrence. You see people fight, all that shit. You know, it fucking happens. Do I think that it's right to glorify violence to the point where you act on a violent action in real life because of a piece of media? No, I think you're a psychopath if you do that. At the same time, it's like, if it's fiction and not hurting anybody, then what's the fucking problem? There is no problem. You're making mountains out of molehills for nothing. And I think these critics don't really understand that. They cannot be fucking rational human beings. They just want to put their personal biases into a review and snowflake around these topics because they cannot handle mature subject matter. It's okay to have genres that are perfectly tailor-made for adults. It's okay to have genres that are perfectly okay for teenagers. It's okay to have a genre that is perfectly fine for a child or the whole family to watch. At the same time, we should not be judging distinctive thematics and genres all because a person says, well, this is not for me, because there is something for everyone out there and you're choosing not to see the bigger picture. And because there is a particular thematic involved, that does not make that particular film bad. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's all about the quality of the movie, no matter what genre it has been put into. I can perfectly admit, on the other side of the coin, there is R-rated movies that are absolutely fucking terrible, and those movies were not saved by the R rating. People want MCU Blade to be R-rated, right? Fair enough, but Blade Trinity being an R-rated movie did not save the quality of that movie because that movie was just a bad movie. The genre didn't save it. The restricted rating did not make that movie good. I despise when people pull that card too, because it's not true that the R rating does make a good movie. At the same time, I can see the proper criticism of not wanting a film franchise that is readily mature to be dumbed down, but the quality of the movie is always first and foremost. A good movie is going to make me want to watch it again over a movie that just has a rating slapped to it, right? That's all I want. A good movie, a good film. But there still is room in the industry for restricted content. If you don't like it, admit that you're squeamish, do some research, or actually be more open-minded to the premise of adult movies. If you're going to review them, it is your job as a reviewer to tell us your perspective of what you thought about the movie. Not all this personal bias bullshit, not all this agenda written bullshit, just to slander a good film. Let people know, hey, it's a good popcorn flick. Maybe you would like it. It personally wasn't for me, but maybe you would like it over it's sexist, misogynist, and it has way too much fucking blood and guts. Get over yourselves. I'm so tired of these stupid, brainless idiots that get offended about every singular little thing when they don't understand the concepts in fiction of gritty realism and war. when you talk all that fucking nonsense and you just basically say that, hey, it's my opinion, don't get mad, it's just my opinion, you're not being truthful to the actual criteria you are reviewing, because you have all these fucking personal swerves in there. Every single time. People are doing this also to Joker. Oh, it's too brutally violent. I just think that you shouldn't listen to those people. Formulate your own opinion. Go see it if you really want to see it. And hey, that might actually make me see the movie more. Oh, Joker is violent? I want to see what makes this movie so violent and so good for it to get a lot of fucking praise and recognition. I want to see that. Fuck all that minuscule bullshit. I don't care what you're saying about just violence. I want to see what else is at the core of Arthur Fleck's story in order to really formulate my own opinion, talk about it, and see what makes that movie tick. At the same time, if Rambo is a fucking really gory and masterful fucking war movie, personal war movie, is Home Alone 4, I'm going to see it based on that premise alone. All you guys are doing is basically snowflaking around the subject and giving that movie more hype every time they say Rambo is a bad movie because way too much blood, way too much action, etc. How can there be way too much action in a fucking action movie? Huh? What? Now maybe I can see the perspective of that a little bit if they don't allow the audience to have time to breathe and do all these story moments, but that's what an action movie is supposed to be. The story is supposed to be minimal. It's supposed to be a knockdown, drag out sequence until you get from point A to point B and the story is over. You're supposed to see a bunch of people punched out and all that shit, and the story is minimal. A story can be there, a story still can be good in an action movie, but what do you expect? That's the main question here. What do you people expect each time you watch a restricted movie and you're pissed about it? You see blood, you see tits, you see ass. Oh, I'm offended. It's sexist. Fuck you. People need to be more honest about the content they are receiving and stop faulting it as an issue of the genre or franchise when those key tropes have been in place since the dawn of that fucking franchise. I'm telling you now. This is why outrage culture is so annoying, and it's very rare that I listen to what someone is actually saying. They have to come from a mind of honesty. If I feel like there's some insincerity going on, I don't listen to that person at all. It's like I'm just done. I drown that shit out. I feel like it's more easier to live that way, not worrying about what most people say, because what most people say online sometimes can be bullshit. If you are indeed a credible reviewer, or if you do indeed find credible reviewers out there, they are the last of the Mohicans. I'm not even fucking shitting you. They are the rare ones out here, because a lot of people outside of those credible reviewers, they spew a bunch of bullshit. And everyone knows this. They spew the most fucking stupid crap on their website, and sometimes they do it just to get attention. Sometimes they do it just to get clicks. Oh, I'm gonna say something is bad so I can get a huge influx of traffic. Fuck those people. They are not credible reviewers at all. Anyway, are you going to see Rambo Last Blood? Are you not going to see it? Comment below, let me know. Tell me what you thought of the subject. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe, share it to your friends. That helps me out a lot. And once again, I will see you soon. Take care.